It's late in the afternoon and I'm going to have a beer and a snack before dinner. I like these chips that are like scoops because I can get more salsa and more dip with each chip. Because let's face it, I mean, that's what you're really there to eat. The humidity here is so high that everything has to be closed up very tightly. Otherwise it'll be all soggy the next day. These convenient bag clips are actually clothespins, and Mimi brought a whole bunch of clothespins along with other supplies one weekend, and they've been really useful for lots of things. She also brought extra dip and chips because I went through all of it that I brought pretty quick. So salsa is a non-Newtonian fluid, like ketchup. So if it isn't flowing well, shake it up and then it'll be more liquid for a little while before it sets up again. So I got my beer, I got my salsa, I got my chips. I'm going to go up top and sit on one of those storage lockers on the bow. This is a really nice place to hang out now. It's late in the afternoon and I had a shower at Elliott Key and have fresh clothes on, and things are nice on the boat today. And yummy, yummy salsa and chips. Although it's hard to eat with the first-person view rig on. So I'm going to set it over here and you can watch me eat for a bit. When I hang out here in the afternoon, I like to think about different things. And one of the things that I think about a lot is getting some sort of cushions on these storage bins. It's a nice seat, but it would be nice if there was sort of a softer cushion for it. I'm not a big fan of normal boat cushions with stitching because water likes to get in through the stitching and the foam rubber inside soaks it up like a sponge. And then when you sit on it, your butt always gets wet. So I'm thinking either use the conventional foam rubber and put vinyl or some sort of plastic over the top and no stitching at all, but wrap it around the underside and fasten it all the way around on the underside of the lid. So there's no stitching for water to get in. Another possibility is these big foam mats that people have to like play with in the water that don't soak up water. They're some sort of closed cell foam. They're kind of pricey to be cutting up into cushions for these bins, but they would work really well because they're never going to soak up water, and they're made to survive the sun. The boat has a pressurized water system, so all I have to do is turn on the tap and water comes out, just like in your house. When I turn the tap off, the pump runs and pumps up some pressure in the pipes and then shuts off once a certain pressure is reached. And normally the pump won't run again until I open one of the valves and let water out, and that drops the pressure in the pipe and the pump turns on. So the boat is running on solar and batteries at the moment, and I'm turning off the inverter. I'm getting ready to cook dinner, and there have been issues trying to run the microwave from the solar. So I'm just going to run the microwave from the generator for a few minutes. I think once I get more battery, I'll be able to run the microwave. So one pull starts the generator. I turn the choke off. And now that it's running, I can connect the load. Now all the appliances and all the electric on the boat is plugged into the generator. That big yellow cord connects pretty much all the 110 volt stuff on the boat, so it's easy to switch around. You can hear the generator race when I start the microwave, because it puts a big load on the generator. And while the food is cooking, I'll do the dishes from, well, this lid is from the container that the chili was in. There's the container, and I'll clean out my salsa bowl as well. And I'll give my chili a stir so that it heats more evenly. The microwave seems to like to heat things around the outside and not so much in the very center if you've got a big bowl of something like this. But I just stir it up and let it sit for a bit, and then it's good. And with dinner, I'm going to have something to drink. I suppose as a human being, I'm sort of a two-stroke. I need my fluids mixed. I don't run well on straight water, so I have to have a mixture. Part water and then part some other juice, just to give a little bit of a flavor to the water. This is cran grape, and it only takes a little bit to give a little sweetness to the water. It kind of reminds me of like watered down Kool-Aid that I had when I was a kid. I like these glasses. They're vacuum insulated so that things stay hot or cold for a long time, and they're stainless so they don't break if you drop them, and they're just clean easily. They're really nice. That blue pad that the chili is on is very soft rubber, and they're really nice because anything set on them is not going to slide or anything if the boat rocks. That's the washcloth and towel from my shower at Elliott Key. Mimi talked to some people on other boats, and they told us about clothespins to hang things up on the front railing, so we may do that instead of the clothesline next year.
Sunrise and sunset information from Miami. Sunrise Friday, 6:45. Sunset Friday, 8:11. Sunrise Saturday, 6:45. Sunset Saturday, 8:10. The forecast ultraviolet index for Saturday is 12. This exposure level is in the extreme category. The next 4 times at the Miami Harbor entrance are high tide, Friday, 4:34 p.m. Low tide.
I meant to have a cover made for the instruments before I left, but that was one of a number of things that there just wasn't time for, so I use this blue tarp to cover them up when I'm not driving the boat, almost always. It keeps the sun off of them, and more importantly, it keeps the rain off of them. These orange things are rocker stoppers, and there's a big weight underneath which helps to hold the tarp down here. And you tie the rocker stoppers over the side of the boat if there's big waves and it's rocking too much, and they act as sort of a break in the water to dampen the rocking motion of the boat. It's very late in the day now, and the boat is anchored, and oh, here's the anchor alarm. I'm going to check that. The boat has only moved about 4.5 meters since I anchored, so that's fine. But with the sun being so low and the wind having the bow facing the east, the sun is coming right in the door and right where I want to eat. So as nice as it is to have this open, I'm going to close it to block the sun while I eat. Well, as close as I can get it. And this is my dinner. Yummy, yummy chili cooked at home frozen and kept in the freezer until today when I microwaved it for my dinner. And now most of the chili has been eaten. And I'm going to put out these lights. They'll sit out all night in order to prevent other boats from running into me, because I'm just out in the very middle of the bay. The lights that would normally be on are run from the batteries that start the engines. And I'm trying to save those. Oh yeah, this one is kind of funny. I take the base off and adjust the batteries to get the light to come on. And then when I screw the base back on, they go off. This time, I only had to fix it once. There have been other times which were more comical but weren't recorded on video. And this carabiner hangs this up here, and the other one will be hung on the bow. And I'm trying not to use the legacy 12-volt systems on the boat. And hopefully by next year I'll have some anchor lights set up to run off of the solar batteries. I have these Velcro strips that I use to tie down the canvas on the bimini tops when the bimini tops are folded down so the canvas doesn't flap in the wind. And I'm just going to use one of them to hold this lantern near the front of the boat. So with one at the front and one at the back, there's kind of no direction that anyone can approach my boat where they're not going to see a light. It's just so calm and peaceful out here, and the normal weather pattern is for thunderstorms like that to stay over the mainland. The prevailing winds are from the east blowing to the west, so they tend to blow these storms blow up because the heat of the land rises and makes these clouds, and the prevailing winds are from east to west, so they form over the mainland and then drift west away from the bay. Although several times this year that pattern has not held, like the squall that hit Boca Chica earlier in the summer formed over here to the west and moved to the east and hit the island. And these storms will do the same thing later tonight. Most days it's nice because the tall thunderclouds will give you some shade in the later part of the afternoon. They'll cast their shadows out over the bay. You can see how high they blow up. And my boat is in the shade from them right now. Where I am, it's very calm, but where the thunderstorms are, there's torrential rain and usually high winds associated with these storms. It's turning out to be another typically beautifully dramatic sunset on Biscayne Bay. And at this point, it's a nice time to finish the rest of my chili. And now it's just a little bit later in the day, right at sunset. The water birds are out on the bay fishing most of the day, and then they go and roost on one of the islands for the night. And this is really just an hour or two later. Those storms are starting to move to the east. And the winds associated with the storms are starting to kick up some pretty big waves. And I'm out in the middle of the bay. This is looking south. It's not too bad there. That's Turkey Point Power Plant, and that's Homestead that's in the rain there. And this is looking a little bit further north towards the city of Miami. And the rain is already out over the bay there. And it's going to be moving out. The rain that's by Homestead and the power plant is going to be out where I am in just a short time. And that's just it for another episode of $900 Luxury Yacht. Check out these other videos that were shot the same day.